Welcome, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Mack. I'm the creative strategist and creative director of Mississauga Arts Council. This is Susan Dernan. She is the administration lead of Mississauga Arts Council. We would like to thank you for attending tonight's TD Cultural Lab webinar, Creative Journeys with Michael Amaral and Arlene, presented by Mississauga Arts Council. TD Cultural Lab is generously sponsored by TD Bank Group.
The Mississauga Arts Council is dedicated to enabling the growth of the arts by creating opportunity and connection between artists and residents in Mississauga and beyond. Celebrating our milestone 40th anniversary this year, MAC is a registered charity dedicated to accelerating progress toward the attainment of our vision of Mississauga as a vibrant cultural community where arts and culture thrive. Our mission is to empower the arts economy by creating more opportunities and capacity, connecting artists to audiences and each other, and celebrating artists' achievements. We would like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is part of the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit and the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, Ojibwe Chippewa, Métis, and most recently, the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who are direct descendants of the Mississaugas of the Credit.
A couple of quick reminders. Please turn your video off. Please keep your microphone muted. If you wish to make a comment or if you have a question, please use the comment section. We will be moderating the question and answer portion of tonight's webinar and ask that you use the chat feature to ask your questions throughout the presentation. If you wish to change the view you are seeing, there is a button in the top right-hand corner with viewing options.
All right, let's get started. We are thrilled to present tonight's webinar, Creative Journeys, with Michael Amaral and Arlene. It's our pleasure to introduce the presenters. Michael Amaral, aka Krusty, is a freelance photographer and videographer specializing in concerts, music videos, and band promotion. His highly successful business, Krusty Media, is an award-winning Toronto-based photography studio specializing in live event photography and videography. Michael's professional credits include editing, writing, and photography for online webzine The Heavy Press, photography for online webzine Canadian Beats, photography for various album covers for Canadian bands, and product photography for local businesses. On top of that, Michael is skilled in graphic design. He has created and organized album artwork and layouts, concert posters, and business band logos. Michael is proficient in videography and has a plethora of music videos he has shot and directed. In 2019, Michael won a Mississauga Music Award for his video for Lawless Son's song, Mufasa. The pandemic shifted the focus of his work, and Michael was able to find inspiration creating music videos of covers made remotely by collaborating artists from around the world. He also created a series of his own collaborative music covers, which can be found on his YouTube channel. He has collaborated with Moby, Rise Against, Anthrax, Danko Jones, Sum 41, Goldfinger, Bad Cop, The Offspring, among many others. In November 2020, he won a Mississauga Music Award for Best Online Content with over 70 music videos, 1 musical documentary, 1 TV pilot, and 7 live stream events, all created in 2020.
Michael is joined by Arlene. Arlene is a soulful singer, songwriter whose deliciously sweet and silky voice will make you wish you could taste the air upon which her heartfelt and clever sounds soar. Backed by an intrinsically gifted band of merry music makers, the live Arlene experience is simultaneously explosive and embracing, and a feeling you won't soon forget. An award-winning musician, this Mississauga native has enchanted crowds across Canada, UK, Europe, and the US since 2010, with inspired original music and ingenious homage to artist she covers. Past performances include Juno Fest London, Aeolian Hall, Living Arts Center, TEDx Mississauga, Meadowvale Theatre, Sound of Music Club Series, Paisley Arts Festival, Scotland. Let's take it away, guys.
Wicked, thanks. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Thank you. Michael,
How are you? That was a long intro. Did I write that intro or I don't even know. I liked your intro though.
My best friend wrote it. That's why
Your
it says
best
that.
friend wrote it. Okay. I'm pretty sure. I don't know who wrote it. How
Yeah.
are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. There's a lot of people in here just watching us chit chat.
That's true. That
Yeah.
is very true. We have a lot of knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge and success under your belt. I'm going to definitely learn from you today, and going to put in some of the things that I've gone through for the past since I started in the beautiful music scene in 2010. So um, I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start with how we started our creative journeys, right?
Yeah, sure.
So first of all, it starts with a lot of, for me personally, it starts with a lot of doubts and a lot of fears. I was a musician at a very young age. I think I started taking piano lessons at like 5 years old, and then I graduated to saxophone and then trumpet and drums and then guitar from there. And I started a band and I did all that stuff. But I was that was always my primary focus, was being in a band and playing music. I just used to watch the old Much Music and be like, I want to be on Much Music.
Yes.
Yeah. So it started there, and I got introduced to a camera when I was a young age. I think I was 13 or 14 in high school. They had a class called Comtech. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. And that's where I started shooting photography for the first time.
Wow.
It was on film. They had a dark room there, so I would take some photos and then go into the dark room and just do all that myself. And eventually I got my own camera, my own Nikon camera back in the early 2000s. And I had a digital camera after that one. My first digital camera was a Sony camera. And it's actually a pretty funny story. The camera was about this big. It was very bulky digital Sony camera, and it didn't have any memory in it. You had to put a memory stick in it, like most cameras, but it only took 2.5-inch floppy disk. That was the that's how old the digital camera was that I had. And so I would go out with my friends. We'd sneak into a park or whatever kids do, mischief, if you will. And I would have to carry in my pockets like ten floppy disks,
Oh man.
and like take like 3 pictures, take it out. Okay, hold on, guys. Yeah, and that's kind of how my journey started with cameras and taking photos. How about you?
So my music career started where I like yourself, you found your love for photography in high school. I found my love for writing in high school too, but I wasn't really serious. I actually went the theater route. Went to Randolph Academy Musical Theater, audition, and then I noticed like I started to write music again, but I noticed that I could create my own shows in terms of performing my original music. A friend of mine, she booked a venue. She put a cover charge and invited people to perform. And I was
Yep.
like, oh, I could do that. Whereas in auditioning, I'm waiting on someone else to hire me for that role.
Yeah.
And also in film and TV and theater, they want specific looks, specific actors. And so I was like, oh, maybe I could just book a venue, do the same thing. So that's how actually my promotion artist company started, Let's Make It Productions, in 2010. So I was just putting on shows, been able to put on um, many shows across Canada and a couple in the States, and yeah, and that's to help me network with a lot of people as well. So so far it's been a lot of, and we'll be chatting about it too, a lot of things that we had to do on our own.
Mhm.
And with that though, I think something super important that gets overlooked in terms of us as artists is the 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 biggest part of our career is our mental health and our mindset. Excuse me.
Yep.
In my opinion,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
we're creating from a place of vulnerability and authenticity, and then when we we present it, there's we have our greatest, also have the critics that we create from other people, even though they haven't said anything to us. So with that said, I want to know some of the doubts and fears that you've come across, either recently or throughout time, that keeps coming up. How do you
Yeah.
how do you get rid of them or kind of shut them off?
Shove them in the back of the corner of the room is what I do. So for me, I had a lot of doubts and a lot of fears for many years. Like I said to you, I've been taking photos uh, since 1995. So it's been a very long time, but I didn't really start sharing any of my photos until about 2017, 2016.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a very long, very, very long time. I was always I was too nervous, much like just nervous, just so nervous. I didn't want to show people who I was in that creative way. I've always just been, Michael Krusty, the guitar player from that punk band, or you know, whatever. I didn't really, like you said, I didn't really show any vulnerability. I was always just that tough guy. In my 20s, I was in a heavy metal band. I was just the guy who's like, oh, in a metal band. Ah. So
Yeah.
I never really did that. And I was just always, like you said, afraid of being critiqued, and like people, like, me showing a photo to someone and saying, "Oh, that's awful. You're, like,
Mhm.
never take another photo again." All the worst things you can think of
Right.
is what I thought of constantly in my head. And it took me so long to overcome that. And then yeah, I just one day I had enough. I was feeling down on my luck. I wasn't in the best mind space. I work in relationships and everything else in life, and it. One day I was just like, I just decided I don't really care anymore about what other people are thinking. I'm just gonna do what I want for the first time because I want to be happy. So that's how I kind of overcame it. I was just kind of like, I just want to be happy for myself.
And was that around the time when you did start sharing, or was that kind of like you started sharing and then you discovered that after?
Yep. Yep. Kind of just, yeah, it was very, 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 I'm, it's hard to think about, uh,
Like when it
kind of,
happened, right?
yeah, it's kind of hard because it was a very weird time in my life. So, uh, how about you? When did you start like writing music and like wanting to share it?
Um,
Uh,
it I started writing in high school. I was sharing it. It's in high school. I mean, I was singing songs that were similar to my influences and things that a teenager would go through. And even now, there are times where I'd be afraid to share my songs with my co-writer. Um,
yeah.
he plays guitar with me, Kevin Dvorak,
Mhm.
and sometimes I would be like, because I regard him very highly in terms of his musical ability and his and how he views producing. So there was actually recently, I was like, oh, I was too afraid to show this to you. He listened to it and he's like, why are you being afraid? You need to show me your vulnerability. And it's like a constant reminder.
Yep.
And I'm sure they go through different scenarios, different things in your head. I think now that we've gone through this journey, do you find that you're overcoming that quicker than before?
Oh yeah. Now I have no shame. I really, I literally have no shame. Uh yeah, I don't care anymore about, I shouldn't say I don't care. I do care, but it's just like the whole point of me get when I got into photography and to when I started sharing it was like, unlike for me, unlike the band experience where like I'm writing a song, I'm taking it to the band, and then we sit in a room and they tear it apart and put it back together, and then it's a no big deal song.
Right.
Uh, for photography, it was, I'm gonna take this cool photo of that banana, I'm going to take, whatever. I'm going to put it in the computer. I'm going to edit it however I want. If I want the banana to be, a pink banana with lots of shading, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to take that photo and I'm going to share it to the world on social media. And no one can be like, what are you doing? Because I don't care.
That's cool. And I think that's what a lot of artists need to find, but in the sense of like, of, that will benefit their journey, I think.
Yeah.
Because there can be an artist that like they don't care and they'll throw everything out there, but I think it's more so to do with what other people think, because everyone's gonna have an opinion.
Yeah. Everyone
Always.
has an opinion always, which leads us to the next topic, I think.
Oh, look at
Branding
that.
yourself.
That's true.
That's a good segue.
I like that.
If George Lucas was here, he would have done some kind of star swipe.
No, but
Lens.
Michael Amaral from Crusty Media is here, so he's gonna
Yes.
do better. So branding yourself, you have done such a great job in branding yourself that I've been learning from your journey. What is something that you can tell somebody that's like, what's branding? Like the newest person.
Branding is basically knowing what your niche is and knowing what you're good at selling to the world or showing yourself as to the world, so that you don't want to be all over the place and you don't want to be confused. You don't want people to be confused when they go to your website or they go to your Facebook page or your Instagram page. They want to know exactly what they're getting into, and especially if you're branding yourselves for businesses or like for me, I have a right here. I can show you quickly.
Yeah.
My Instagram page. My face is in the way. I know. Here you go. Here's my Instagram page. And so right off the bat, I have my name here because my name is I've been branding myself as Michael X Krusty, and it's been like that for 10 years, and everyone knows me as Krusty. Like even my partner calls me Krusty. Hey Krusty, get over, your dinner's ready. Or hey Krusty, you didn't flush the toilet. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, folks.
I hope so.
And my thing is concerts. When concerts were around, when the pandemic wasn't here, I was doing a lot of punk rock bands and a lot of heavy metal bands. So right off the bat, I got punk rock, heavy metal photographer, and videographer you all love, because that's what I do, and exuding confidence always helps.
Right.
Always helps. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, moderators. And then I have my business called Crusty Media, which is Crusty Media is my business, and then this page here is more of just what I do, because Crusty Media is a bigger market. So I have a different page for that, which is another part of branding as well, for sure. I have a new podcast called the Miserable Failure Podcast. And then if you look at my page and you look at my photos, there's not going to be there's not going to be a lot of photos of like trees or flowers or anything like that, like there was when I first started taking a lot of photos and posting a lot of photos and sharing myself
Right.
to the world, because I was still trying to find what I wanted to do and what my niche was, and how I wanted to brand myself. And that's the best way for any creative photographer or videographer out there. The best thing you can do is just take your camera everywhere when you're first starting and take photos of everything. Just don't stop taking photos. There was a point where I was taking like 500 photos a day, and it was getting a little obsessive, but that's what I do. I get a little bit of obsessive. So my market, like I said, is punk rock and heavy metal photographer. So if you look at all the photos, I'm a black and white guy. I'm not really a color guy. So if you look at all my photos, you can tell that they're just all band photos except for this one here. So in that case, I would take it and I'd say, bye. No, I don't know how to. You can't do it on the computer, but you can archive those photos. So if you do have photos on your page that aren't a part of your branding, all you can do is go onto the photo and you can archive them, no problem.
And we actually chatted about that too recently with Susan and Jacqueline also, like, I've been told that too, like to take a look at my Instagram. I've been more mindful of what I'm putting up as well, because it does show who you are as an artist, especially to somebody that doesn't know who you are. But they were saying that, if you want to post the personal stuff, like, about your cat or whatever, have a separate
Yeah.
account for that.
But
Because,
you can also, sorry to interrupt you.
oh, it's
You
okay.
can also just post those things on your story with your close friends.
Exactly. That's what I do. Because I don't want to man two things.
Yeah. And no one
Um,
wants to see 100 photos of your cat or your dog. Well, maybe, unless that's your branding. Unless that's your
it's
branding.
true. That is true. Very true. And also, like, I think a lot of people will go to other people for guidance. But even if you take a look at your favorite artists and find out what they're posting also to get a sense of what they're putting out, then that helps a lot. And there's other different things that you can learn, like for Instagram. Instagram is like where all the kids are. Um, but you can post in a sense where when you look at it, there's a big picture. But
Yeah.
you said that was 2020, right? So
Yeah,
like,
so like if you're one of those people that have the Instagram, yeah, if you're one of those people that have the Instagram page and you're doing the three posts across each other, it's not, I don't know, it's not really in now. And also you said Instagram's for the kids, but I think TikTok's for the kids now.
well, that's true. I guess I meant like the ones between us and the kids.
Yeah, for sure.
But
For sure.
but what I find with Instagram, with the posts that way, like the three in a row, I actually don't look at people's profiles that way, myself personally.
Yeah,
I don't know.
for sure. And like for me, when I'm posting a photo, I like to post like a little story about the photo to just make it more personal so someone can connect with it. So you take the photo, like talk about when you took the photo, or you know, I'll talk about the concert that I was at when I took it, or if I bumped into anyone, or what camera I was using. Any type of those things would definitely help.
Hmm.
um yeah.
And
Yeah.
with branding yourself, Michael, do you find, like, because we're talking about Instagram, do you find that you have to add hashtags, or are you post stories? Are they usually similar? Do you find there's
When
different kind of
you're
posts?
Yeah, so when you're posting on Instagram, you should always thank you. When you're posting on Instagram, you should always use hashtags, because no one outside of who's following you is going to see your post or find you. And what you're trying to sell yourself, you're trying to expand your reach, and you can't do that if no one can find you.
Right.
So definitely don't have your profile on private. Have it on public, and use hashtags, because that's how people will find you. Not only will they find you in the search part of like Instagram, but if you go to someone's page, and sometimes it will show who they're following or who to follow, suggested follows. If you're using hashtags, your profile will pop up there. If you're not using hashtags, then your profile won't ever show up on those other people's Instagram pages.
And these things that you're teaching us right now, is this something that you learned on your own? Is it something that people have told you? You've collected this data from other people's pages, kind of thing?
Um, no, it's just a lot of research, a lot of time watching YouTube, and asking questions. There's a lot of I have a lot of friends that are kind of doing the same thing I'm doing. They're photographers or videographers, or people I look up to that I reach out to and I ask them questions. And that's a great way to help brand yourself and
And
to
to go into our next topic of
networking.
networking.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd go there,
Yeah.
because it's like totally important. Just for myself, for networking, in the beginning, and you probably did this too. I didn't know what I was doing, so I would reach out to people, I would research, as you said, but I would actually message people. I would read on Twitter. I would research like Toronto Toronto record labels or Toronto musicians. And I actually met two of my good friends through that. Mike Schlosser from Little Noise Records and Vanessa Markov, she used to manage Cleopatra. But what's amazing about networking online is that we can easily access these people. And what I did, I don't know what your experience is, but I would actually ask them if I could pick their brain over lunch. People like free food and to talk about themselves and to share their knowledge.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Yes.
what's your experience in terms of networking?
Uh, so for like online networking, a good way to get someone's attention, like just say, I want to work with the band The Dirty Nil, which is a local band. They're getting pretty popular in North America and in Germany and all that kind of stuff. What I did was, I'll email their management and be like, hey, I want to take photos of the band, and I'm sure they get that all the time. So you got to find other means of getting in touch with the bands.
You
There's
have to
been
be
many times
creative, right?
there you have to be creative because this is a creative journey. There's many times where I've just sent a message on Instagram and said, hey, let's work together, and it's worked. And other times, people don't see it. um, the other way is just go to their concert and take some photos of the band. I've done this over and over again. I For all of 2018, I think I went to 250 shows
Wow.
in 2018, and I would go every night. I would take photos of who's ever playing at the Bovine, at the Horseshoe, at Cherry Colas. Even I would go to Falcha in Mississauga, rest in peace, Falcha,
Yeah.
and I would take photos of these bands. And then the next day, I would edit them and send them and be like, "Hey, let's work. Let's work." If I couldn't meet them that night, I would just send them photos and be like, "Hey, these are some photos I took. Let's do some work together." And it works a lot of the times. It works so many of the times. The reason why I got to work with Moby in 2020 is literally because I emailed him and said, "Hey, do you want to be in a music video?"
Right.
And he said, "Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Why not?"
It's incredible that passion and that tenacity to actually reach out to people. Um, the least they're gonna do is not respond,
Yeah,
right?
and that kind of goes in with doubts and fears as well, because
For
if you
sure.
have any doubts or fears about that and you don't take that shot and you don't send that message, you're not going to get anything back, and you're always going to wonder. So you gotta overcome that and just do it. Just do
Yeah,
it.
definitely. An experience that I had, I run an event called Wonder Women, and our goal is to empower through female artists. And I actually just tweeted Beth naked. I didn't know if I was going to get a response from her at all. I DM'd her and messaged her and told her what this event was, what we were doing, spreading empowerment through women, through artists, and um, I wanted her to be a speaker or be involved. She responded back. She actually listened to my music too, and then she wrote in her message saying like, as much as I want to help you, you need the adults. She put it on quote, the adults need to talk. So you have to talk to my manager. So
Yeah,
and
for
her
sure.
so easily accessible. Like like for yourself, like we never know if we don't reach out, right? So
Absolutely.
um is there so because now, through COVID we're all online, but prior to that and hopefully after COVID, in terms of networking, you know, I would imagine that you would do that in shows and at events that you go to. Um, if someone is kind of weary about networking, do you have any tips for them when they start out?
Just be yourself. Be like a good person. Just and networking, a big part of networking is just creating friendships. It's not just like meeting that person, be like, hey, I want to work with you, and
Right.
if you don't want to work with me, don't call me. Like make friendships, build friendships. And the best thing I say to people when I get to know them is, it isn't, hey, hire me. Like I don't like I did today with Demetrius just now. Hey, you want to make some money, you hire me. That's not the case.
Yeah,
This is what I
right.
say to them. We're friends. What can I do for you?
Mhm.
What can I do for you? And that's what it comes down to, because
Great.
I want to help them. And that's it, just builds the friendship more.
That's I like that a lot, because I think if we need to um network that way, we have to make sure that we're giving people what they want. But with that said, with my company, Let's Make Good Productions, I'm just gonna share my screen here.
Share it.
Through that, I've been able to put on. Oh, did I do it? Are you seeing? No, you're not.
Yep.
1 second. Hold on. I lost
You
it.
got this. You got this, Arlene.
I know. This is what I knew would happen. Oh, here we go. Can you see that?
I can see that. Yep, we can all
Is it
see
full
that.
screen? Is it full screen?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. Okay, so just going back to networking and going back to how I started my musical journey, putting on my own events. Through that, I was able to meet a lot of people. We celebrated Wonder Woman 10 in 2020 online, but that developed into Wonderfest, and like you said, I'm giving opportunities to people to perform. So people want to perform, and so I've been able to give that to them, and with that, I've developed, like, do it yourself. I developed a TV show called Striving Artists, which you were on,
I was. Thank you.
to showcase artists that are making a living off of their art. And through Instagram, actually, Kevin and I got to perform at TEDx Mississauga. So that goes with, making sure you're branding yourself. Another TV
Absolutely.
show is called Wonderfest TV. And then with all these events, I was able to achieve a Volunteer of the Year award. But these are just like half a year of events, and then we did events at West Edge on Lakeshore. And the reason why I'm showing that is because that's just through a whole bunch of networking. Like, people heard what I was doing because I was reaching out to people like, hey, do you want to perform? And if I were to perform across Canada, or in the, like, visited the UK, I reached out to people there.
Yep.
It's all like just diving in, and then it's also numbers. Like, the more people that you talk to for yourself. You said you took like 500 photos, and probably 20% of those photos you'll like.
I guarantee you, it's like 4% of those
Well,
photos people have seen.
I knew you would say that, but I was giving you more credit.
Yeah. I have an example here of video. I have a video for you. This is a prime example of all my hard work, networking, and just being a part of the community in Mississauga. This is here. I'm going to show you right here. How do you share
Oh,
this?
is it our radio guy in there?
It's this video right here. Like, this video wouldn't have happened. This video would not have happened if if I wasn't networking with Demetrius, and just like I've worked with everyone in this video.
Yeah.
I've done a photo shoot for them or a music video for them. And, it's a great video.
It is.
Great song.
It is.
You're in here somewhere too. There's Zaddy. Everyone knows Zaddy. You can't go wrong when Zaddy's in front of your camera. There you are. How do I unshare?
Okay, you can keep watching. Let's let them watch.
Watch.
It is Demetrius masking is part of a band called Maybe May that released this song. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the Mississauga Food Bank.
So there you go. That's a prime example of what you can do with networking. And I wanted to mention quickly doing stuff like do it yourself. Like, you do that a lot, and I do that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. Like, for up until mid 2020, any music video that I made was by myself.
Right.
I would talk to the the band, or the one person in the band that, you know, had the art direction in which they wanted. We'd come up with a story. We'd get the date all booked, and then I'd show up, you know, with the lights and everything, and we'd film it all. I would do all the lighting. I would press play for the band to start.
Wow.
Yeah, I would do everything, you know, and then at the end of the day I would pack it up, you know, and some days are like 10 hours, some are 16 hours. Then you go home, you put all the stuff, you know, away. You put the memory card in the computer, you save everything, and then you spend, you know, the next 4 days editing.
Right.
You release the video. And I wanted to show you a video in which I did that all like totally DIY. Would be this one here. It was a big deal for me. It's a band called Pink Leather Jackets.
Oh, cool. From Mississauga.
Here we go.
Most of them are from Mississauga, right?
So I got to shoot this. I shot this one by myself. Everything. I went to their house one day and I shot that. And then this is we shot this in Ajax. It's actually 2 shots in one. It's the first time I ever did a shot where there is 2 different shots in one shot.
Okay. So you had a few cameras set up then. Is that what you mean?
No. So basically, let me see here. It's when you're creating, just like we said before with doubts and fears, never be afraid to try new things.
Mm-hmm. That's
because like you could fail at them, but you know, you could also be doing something right, or if you fail, you could you know, learn from your mistakes and move forward, right? So this is a situation where it actually worked. I had the band, I set up the camera, I had the band play on one corner of the screen, and they played the song in slow motion, and then they all left the frame, and then I got the singer just to sit on the corner with a bottle of whiskey, and he sat there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he sat there for 45 minutes.
Wow.
Because I sped him up and I slowed him down, so he sat there for 45 minutes just drinking.
That's hilarious.
And yeah, it worked out. It turned out the whole clip is only 15 seconds, but let's play one more time. It worked.
What's amazing about this, just reflecting on that. Wait, why did you take it off?
Oh, sorry.
I was going
I
to
couldn't
talk
hear
over
you.
it if that's okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so with creating your own stuff and doing it yourself really helps us as artists to get our art out there, right? I think a lot of people in the beginning, I've heard a lot of artists, they might kind of think other people have to promote them, other people have to do this for them, but we really, as beginners, or not beginners, as emerging artists, I think we need to make sure we take that control into our own hands. Not only be creative with our art, but also be creative in how you get your music out there, or you get your videos out there, and
Yeah.
your photography out there. And what you taught us is, you know, just reach out to people.
Reach
And,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Reach out. In touch. Reach out. But I think that's super important to talk about, the business side. Just a little sidetrack, because even though we want to stay creative, we have to remember all the other aspects. So for you had to not only shoot and be creative that way, but you had to, you know, do all the back end of like booking the band.
Yeah.
And, right?
But you gotta put the hard work in, and you build relationships, and then so for me, I've been slowly building a team now. So it's like I'm not working. I'm not working 22-hour days anymore. Well, I still am, but I'm not. You know, I'm not doing everything now. I have people that I have a team of people that help me. For instance, there's a guy in here. His name is Mike. He's in Yellowknife right now, huh, Mike? I've actually hired him to edit some of my videos I'm like overloaded with videos, I'll say, hey, do you want to edit a video for me? And it's like I've built relationships with these people, and I know what they can do and what they can accomplish, and I know that I can trust that whatever they do for me is going to represent Krusty Media the best way possible. So I have him, and I have another editor as well, and then I have uh, a girl. Her name is Bronte Stefaniak. She's also from Mississauga. I don't know if anyone knows who Bronte is, but she built my website for me. And anytime I have a problem, I just message her and say, "Hey, I don't know why this isn't happening," and she's on the ball with it. It's amazing, and that was something where she came to me and she said, "Hey, you don't have a website. I love your stuff. I love what you're doing. I
Wow.
want to build a website for you." And I was just like, "Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
That's awesome.
Here's my money, like just do it. You got to do what you got to do." And someone's asking a question here. Bronte, what's her last name? I'll shoot me a message on Instagram, and I can send you a contact for Bronte. Yeah. So I have a person that does all my my logos. Her name is Dallas Conte. She did my logo for me.
Nice.
Yeah, she's great as well.
Yeah, she is
And
great. She was on my TV show too.
she was on your TV show too. She's a fabulous tattoo artist and a drummer as well. And so I have I have one more. I have another. I have two more videos for you, but I'm going to show
Yes,
you one more video. So this is an
I
example
want to
of
see them all.
yeah. So this is an example of a video that I shot. Um, when did I shoot it? I shot it in September
Okay.
of 2020. We all wore masks. We all social distance.
Thanks.
Actually, it was August, and at that point, I had established relationships with a lot of people that want to work with me, and that people are reaching out saying, "Hey, like next time you're in the area, I want to help you. I want to help you." So for this music video, I had a lighting guy, I had another camera guy with me, and I had a guy that was doing playback with me,
Oh, nice.
and he was also doing behind the scenes photos. So which was great. That's the first time I've ever had someone there just taking behind the scenes photos, because usually I'm so
Doing
busy
both.
directing that I forget to take photos. I just forget to take photos. So these are all good things to remember in the future. Always have behind the scenes footage that you never know. You never know. You never know.
Behind the scenes are always so much fun to look at, also, because it's like you're
Yeah.
you're a fly on the wall.
A good tip for any creative person who wants to make some extra cash. If you're making a music video or you're doing a photo shoot, and you put a GoPro somewhere, and you have the behind the scene footage, or you have someone else taking photos, and then there's this new thing that people are doing called NTFs. You just you get the NTF for that video, and you can sell it over and over and over and over and over again to many people, and you can make lots of money from that. But if you want to know more about NTFs, you can message me, because I can go into that for a long time. But here's a video I did in September 2020 with a team of people, and I think it came out pretty great, pretty rad. I won't show you the whole thing, but have you seen this video, Arlene?
Not yet. I apologize.
That's okay. This is a band called Misconduct from Kitchener, Ontario. It's their first single. They wanted witchy stuff, and I said, okay.
Yeah, you directed it, right?
Yeah, I directed it. I also edited it. It's kind of creepy. We also hired a model, so that we actually hired a model to be in it.
Oh,
Which,
cool.
yeah, I haven't really done that much. I haven't touched upon that much, just because the budget's never really there.
Right.
That's the video. Yeah.
Awesome. That's
But,
great.
sometimes everything works out. Sometimes everything works out, and you have fun doing it, so it's great.
Mhm.
There's a new.
That
Go ahead.
one all worked out though, right?
That was great. was great for everybody. Yeah, it
Yeah,
worked.
looks good.
And then now you're watching it for the first time.
Awesome. Yeah.
Uh,
I'm curious, when we're talking about failures, it is very important to learn from your failures. I believe, and I've heard this somewhere, that massive failure creates massive success. So the more that we do things that don't work, the more that we learn from that and to take those as things to help us grow. Um, I'm curious to know something that in your past, a failure that you've learned from, or that you might. For me, there's different failures that I learned from again and again and again. But for yourself, is there something that you've come across recently, or something in the beginning of your career?
so there's a lot of little things like you I told you the saying the other day, the 5 Ps. Do you
Yeah.
remember what they were?
Tell everybody.
What were they? I
Well,
don't
just tell them. Oh, did I write it? I think I wrote it down here.
You wrote it down.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh, it's okay. Did I write it? Mm,
Proper planning.
oh yeah, I did. I wrote it in my phone somewhere.
Okay, it's proper planning.
Prevents
Poor.
poor performance.
Thank you. Yeah, teamwork. Teamwork. High five. Yeah. So little things like like shot lists. So like for a music video, like always go prepare. Always go over your shot lists. Make sure if you're shooting outside, make sure you know what the weather's going to be. Not only for like the camera and what the camera's going to see, but like if it's going to rain, make sure you have an umbrella for yourself. These are all things I've learned the hard way. Always have an extra memory card. There was one time I was going to shoot Alice in Chains in Dallas, Dallas Green, or City and Color in Hamilton, Ontario. They were playing a concert, and I got asked to shoot the bands.
Wow.
And I got there, and I had no memory cards on me.
Oh no.
I had no memory cards on me. I was stressing hard, and it was like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, downtown Hamilton. I ran to like 5 different places, 5 stores I thought might have it, like convenience stores or anything.
Right.
No one had cards for my camera, so I was sweating a lot. I was sweating so much. I went back there, and then a couple other photographers showed up. So I begged them to see if anyone had a card, and one of them was nice enough to give me a card.
Oh, good.
Like, because basically they had to give me the card so I could take it home, and it's my card now.
Yeah.
So luckily I got a card, and I was able to shoot the show, and it worked out because, the next day Alice in Chains posted one of my photos. So it's great. It was great. But like now I have 5 cards on me at all time.
Oh, that's good.
Like I have 3 in my bag, I have 1 in my pocket, and 1 in my car just in case.
That's hilarious.
Like I have them all here. Like
to show us.
always have lots of cards. So
That's so funny. Something similar to me. Something similar happened to me where my keyboard adapter just died. So now, with my Yamaha, I'll bring 2 adapters because it happened to me twice. And I couldn't. It's electronic.
You guys, yeah, the batteries. If your batteries die, you're screwed. Yeah, for sure. So a big failure, a huge, massive failure for me was I shot a video in the summer for a band as well, and I listened to what they wanted, and I kind of had an idea, but I didn't write out. This is only last year. I didn't write out exactly what they wanted. I kind of had a picture in my head, and I said, okay, let's shoot this. And I spent I think it was like 8 hours on set. We did daytime shots, and then we did sunset shots and nighttime shots, and we filmed till about 3 in the morning. And it was a long shoot, and it was fun shoot. The band is great. I love the band. They're called Johnny No Cash. And I went home, I edited the whole video, and I sent it to them, and they didn't like the outcome of the edit at all. So they said, hey, can we have the footage and we'll edit it ourselves? And that that was the first time that ever happened to me. I that's never happened to me, and I was like, okay, sure. Like I didn't want, I wasn't gonna be like, no, you can't have it. Like they paid for the
Right.
footage,
Right.
and if they're not happy with the product, let's make you happy with the product. So I sent them all the footage. They edited it again, and then they, before they released it, they're like, here, you want to check out the video? And I watched it, and I was just like blown away at how different the edit was. It's so crazy to think of how someone would edit it versus how you would edit it, and it just opened so many doors for me, because I was looking at this video in one certain way, and then they had this huge other way of editing it, and it just made me think like, I need to start thinking bigger. I just need to start thinking bigger. That's the only thing I can think of, and it has helped. It's pushed me to be a little bit more creative. I have an example of those two videos for you.
Yeah,
So
I'm
here's,
curious to know what it was.
yeah, you'll be able to see the difference.
Okay.
It's a quite a difference in editing. So here's my edit.
Line 'em up. We got honky-tonk bass blasting off your face as the drums are filling up the room. We got bloodshot lungs, venom leg tongues, rejuvenating dead.
Where did you guys shoot?
Pardon?
Where did you shoot?
Where did we shoot?
Yeah.
In Bramalea.
Okay. Wow.
The drummer has like a big piece of land out there, and shot in his backyard, basically. Okay, so
Okay.
I want to show you the ending. I want
That's
to show
your
you the
edit
ending.
in your shot.
Now, I want to show you the ending too. So,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
it's pretty basic.
And when the sun goes down, my angels will burn me alive. And I'll sink so low to the point of no control.
So that shot there with the guitar going in the fire is a big shot that we had
Right.
planned at the end of the thing. So, what was it saying? Yeah. So basically, the way I edited this was, I just took the timeline and I put it all together.
Okay.
Where they were thinking like, we need to wow them right at the beginning, and we need to have more visuals, and that's something I didn't think of. So here's their edit, and you'll be able to see the difference right away. And I just want to make it clear to everyone, like I'm excited that they edited it the way they did. I stand behind it 100%, and there's no hard feelings at all. I still work with the band. They're great. I just want to make sure everyone knows that. So this is
Okay.
their edit.
And then I have a question for you about that guitar in the fire.
Okay.
Line 'em up.
So they used it right away.
Okay.
See that? You can tell the difference already, right?
Yeah. They're quick.
We got honky-tonk bass blasting off your face as the drums are filling up
Uh-oh.
the room.
What's that?
We got lungs, venom leg
Just blur that out after.
deadly fumes. And I'll sink
So they use different filters, and they use all the big shots at the beginning.
More stimulant.
Yeah. So that's something I learned from, definitely.
Yeah.
What was the question then?
My question about the guitar was like, is that just a guitar laying around that was put in the fire? Because when I see that, that's the equivalent to me hearing people walk on cement with their skates on. Like,
Yeah.
seeing like that is both cringy. Like,
So
was
in-
that just?
Yeah, in the business we call that a prop.
Oh, I know that, but like,
That was like a $50 guitar that
okay.
that the singer had. He was like, we can
Okay.
destroy this at the end. So why not? Why not? Have some destruction in a video. It always makes people happy, I suppose. Yeah.
That's true. So I'm curious now, Michael. What is in store for you in the future? I know you've got your new podcast coming. That's available. And how have you been creative during COVID in terms of photography and video?
Um, that's a hard question. It's a very hard
I
question.
know. I threw it at you.
I
You didn't
haven't,
write it down.
yeah, I haven't been filming that much, just because we're on lockdown, so I haven't really gone out. I have purchased a lot of toys. I purchased a new filter for my camera and just a whole bunch of different things that I can't wait to use once everything's back open up. But I've been spending a lot of time since that happened. That was in June. I've been
Okay.
spending a lot of time uh, asking a lot of questions and learning about editing a lot. So I have some friends, some friends on social media like Facebook and Instagram, and actually there's a new social media that I'm on. It's called Clubhouse, and if anyone has heard of Clubhouse, or if you haven't heard of Clubhouse, you need to find a
Have
way
to
to get on it.
know.
Yeah. So first of all, it's a brand new social media that started in March, I think, last year. Uh, it's a audio chat invite only, and right now it's a beta version only on iPhones. But if you can somehow get an invite to this new social media, it's going to open your world completely. There's lots of different rooms in there, so you can go. You basically search for any topic that you're looking for. In my instance, I'm a videographer. I need to learn more about editing. I found a videographer room that I've been going into, and there's 40 people, at least minimum 40 people in this chat room with so much more experience than I have. There's I think 25 of them are they live in LA. I was talking, you can basically talk to anyone in the chat. You just talk to each other. People come in and ask questions about editing. I was talking to the cinema, what is it? The DOP, the director of photography, that he did all of Keel and Peele, the TV show, and he also did Office Space, and he also did a whole bunch of other movies, and just picking each other's brains. And I've learned so much from this app. It's crazy. So I've been learning a lot about editing, and I've been working on Mikey and his Uke videos, which is a collab with some other people, and it's basically all editing for me. So I've really been
Awesome.
focusing on editing.
Yeah,
That's what I've been up to.
I think it's important, especially like now that it's tricky for us to get out there to do, you know, 100% of what we are doing as artists. That learning throughout this time is really essential. And
Always
that's
learning.
yeah, that's awesome that you're learning about editing. For myself, it's through like producing stuff, and I
Yeah.
know I saw a lot of artists on here too. I'm sure that they're also doing the same. Hopping on YouTube and learning and practicing. I think I practiced the most in my lifetime through COVID. Like
That's
growing
great.
up, and my mom's on this too. Like she knows I didn't practice as a piano player as much as I was supposed to. But yeah, I think COVID has helped me from personally just develop myself as not only an artist, but um, just having that discipline and 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 then when the world reopens, we have all of that stuff. So with that, I'm wondering, like, we have a couple minutes before we get to questions, but I'm wondering about your expectations through your career. Um, did you have expectations for yourself? Did you hit them, or did you kind of just
Yeah.
dive in and think like, I love this. I'm gonna do everything that that I can.
Yeah. So I when I first started, obviously I had no idea where I was going with this. I had a job, I had a full-time job, and I was kind of like, photography was a hobby.
Right.
And then I was kind of like, it would be cool if I didn't have to work 9 to 5. Like, I can't stand mornings. I don't want to get up at 9 a.m. You know, so it was like, it'd be cool if I could make money from this. And then you keep working at it, you keep working at it, keep grinding, and then you start making a little bit of money. And then it became like I had two jobs, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool if I could just make a living off Krusty Media. And eventually that was a goal I hit. Now I'm only doing Krusty Media. Even
Wow.
before the pandemic, I think I started just doing Krusty Media in 2019. So that's my full-time job is making music videos, doing taking photos of bands, doing live photography and editing. And then I was always in the back of my mind, I want to do a podcast. And now, because of the pandemic and I have some extra time and I've networked and made all those connections with people, I can just call, I called Sky Sweetenham up from Sumo Psycho. I said, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? I want to interview you. And she was like, of course. Yeah, I would love to be on your podcast. So like, I just interviewed her the other day, and I interviewed Cone from Sum 41 the other day. So it's just, I think for me, it's little goals. I think my next goal is Krusty Media as a production company where I can have people that I can trust. And I'm working towards that, where I can say, hey, this is my videographer. Talk to him about the shots you want, and then I have a sound guy and a lighting guy and a makeup person. Everything,
Right.
just everything like that. That's my next goal.
I love that. I think ultimately everybody does need a team because we are only one person. We can do a certain amount of things in 24 hours. When there's more of us, there's more action within that 24 hours. And I think when you establish yourself doing it by yourself, having people, and that all, I think everything that we've talked about encompasses all of it, like networking, like your friend in Yellowknife, like you probably, networked with him, or I don't know your relationship. Maybe you guys were best friends as like 2-year-old or something.
I got him
could
on
see.
Clubhouse.
Amazing. And I think with that, like when you're around like-minded people that want to you want to go the same direction, that's ultimately essential.
Yeah.
We do have some questions.
Yeah, we do.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I hope you're enjoying our conversation. I feel like we're just hanging out, and like people are just
Yeah.
like watching us hang out.
People are just watching us. Yeah. So
what camera or cameras do you shoot on, and how do you do the music playback for music videos?
Okay, so I have the camera that you're looking at me through right now is my Canon 90D. It is my third camera. I started with a Canon Rebel, and like if you're just starting out, don't be afraid to like just take photos or video on whatever you can get your hands on. You don't need to worry about breaking your bank account or anything like that. Like if you only have an iPhone and you want to be a vlogger, be a vlogger, and just whatever you can afford. So I my main camera is a Canon 90D with a Canon 24, no, what is it? It's a Canon 16 to 35 2.8 L series lens, and then I also have a Canon 80D, and I have GoPros for days. I just have GoPros everywhere. They're just hanging out everywhere. So that's my main camera is the Canon 90D, and then for playback, it's different depending on the band. Like for instance, if I was making a music video for Arlene and it was just her doing piano and vocals, I could use a Bluetooth and just like have the song play back on my phone, and it would be loud enough, right? And you just play it back, and she performs her part, lip syncs, and I film it. But if it's like a big rock band and there's drums and all that kind of stuff, then you need a PA system. So for any music directors out there and you want to shoot videos, when you're quoting the band, make sure they know that either they have to provide the PA system for playback, or the price of rental for the PA is in the budget that you gave them, because you don't want to get screwed. You don't want to be like, oh, my price is $1,000, and then all of a sudden you have to rent $100 PA.
Right.
So definitely a PA, and sometimes it's like it's cranked because the drummer's like, let's go. But yeah.
Cool. Shalene, Rodney, I apologize if I said that incorrectly. She wants to know how you go about scaling your creative business to grow from where you started seeing success solo to a point where you have to hire others. Did you intentionally scale and enlarge, or is it unconscious occurrence that happened over time?
Uh, that's a good question. That's a great question.
That's a great question.
I think that it's not something you can just hop on the train and do. It was more of I kept making music videos with bands and doing photo shoots with bands to the point where I was getting so busy that I was stretching myself thin,
Right.
and I was budgeting enough that I could afford to, I could afford to hire Mike to edit a music video for me and pay him, and it wouldn't break the bank. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that's what it comes to. But you have to get there. You like when I first started shooting music videos, the first music video I shot, I got paid $200 for. So like you have to start, start at the bottom. Like Drake said, start at the bottom and then you'll make your way up.
Yeah. I think
But
it is pretty organic, right?
it was pretty organic.
Yeah.
And like there was a point where I remember the first time I hit up Mike for an edit. I had 5 different music videos I had shot, and the deadline was all like a week Tuesday. And I was like, "There's no way I can edit all these videos." And I'm looking at the budget, and I'm thinking, is it like, should I just not sleep for 5 days and edit all these videos, or can I take a hit and throw some money to my buddy I know who's going to edit it amazing,
Right.
and then like and keep my sanity? And I was like, I
Mhm.
have to do that. So that's how it kind of happened.
Yeah. I think it's also the same as a band for myself. Like, if a budget is given, can I hire or can I have do I do a duo with Kevin? Do I do full band with
Yeah,
Kevin, Dan, and Len? Or can I add in more people? Like,
yeah.
um,
The budget helps for
yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I
If
think something I learned too in terms of budget, um, when someone asks you for your rate, how how do you go about that? Like, if someone were to find out how much do you charge, do you have a set thing? Or are you like myself where I would ask them what their budget is first to just in case
that's
I
that's
undervalue myself? Like,
so that's a huge thing. When you're selling yourself, there no one want you, right? If I'm like, hey, Arlene, let's make a music video. Sure, let's make a music video. Okay, well, how much do you charge? And then I'll be like, well, how much is your budget? And no one wants to answer first, because the
I
person
know,
who answer
I know.
first is going to lose.
We're so Canadian and
So
polite.
yeah, I have tips for that. So anyone in that situation, this is what you have to say to them. Okay, you say, what is your budget? And then if they say, oh, I don't know, you ask them what the story is, and then you give them uh an unrealistic amount. But you don't just say, okay, well, that video is going to cost 4,000. You
Right.
say that video, well, you're gonna need this location, and you're gonna need this many actors. We're gonna need to rent a camera. We're gonna need to rent, the lighting. We're gonna need to do this, and that. It's gonna take 2 days, and for that to realistically happen, it's gonna cost you $4,000.
Right.
And then the customer will come back and say, okay, well, my budget's only $2,000, and then boom, right there, that you can totally work with $2,000, and you just make it work. That's
Amazing.
that's how you do it. That's how you got to sell yourself.
For sure.
If you sell the unrealistic 4,000 one, and they're like, yeah, we'll do it, bonus.
Exactly. If they're like, whoa, that, I was thinking of something bigger. So we've got Jacqueline from the Arts Council. She wants to know how someone can be part of your podcast. Is that invite only too?
Yeah,
You will need a good
that's
iPhone.
very exclusive. No, I don't really have a big. I don't even know how to answer this question. I have a list of people that I want to interview, but there's no boundaries. I mean, if you wanna be on my podcast, sure. Let's do a 10-minute thing. I don't know, whatever. As long as I think you have to be in the scope of a creative person, like someone in the art world. That I think, and then I'll pick your brain on my podcast. Yeah, sure, why not?
Cool.
Yeah,
We have
just
someone from Colombia,
okay. Wow.
Rafael.
Hi.
I'm gonna imagine it's Angel Bravo or Angel Bravo. Um, could you explain a little bit about the process behind the Mikey and his uke videos?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for joining us, Raphael. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the question. That is a big question. I don't know if you heard. I just released a podcast with Mikey actually, where we go into detail a little bit about it. But basically, Mikey is the brains. There's 5 people that are a part of the Mikey and his uke camp. Mikey is the brains. He's the guy that you see. He's the face, I guess. He's the guy that you see singing the acoustic part of the song. He's also the one that decides which song we're going to cover. So, Mikey and his uke, basically, for anyone who doesn't know what that is a YouTube channel that I work with. We have 25 videos and over 1.2 million views in the last year, which is it's grown immensely. So basically, Mikey picks a song, an older punk song, usually, well, like we just did a Nirvana song, and then the drummer, his friend Darren, will reach out to people to uh, record their part. So he'll find a bass player, he'll find a guitar player, he'll find a singer. They will record their part in their own home and send me a video of them performing that part. Uh, I'll collect all the video and all the audio for the song. I'll put all the audio into a music program I have. I have one called Reaper. So if you're looking to do any recording, I suggest and you're kind of starting out, I would suggest getting Reaper. It's free for 60 days to try, and then it's only $60 after that. It is cheap. You just need an interface, and you can get an interface for about $150. I'm really taking my time answering this question here. Once I get all the audio lined up in my DAW and I have a demo, I send the demo and I send all of the audio stems to our producer. His name is Steve Risen. He mixes and he masters the song, and what he does is just, if you heard some of the demos that I had compared to his mixes, it's like night and day. Like I'm down here and he's just up here. It's crazy how good he gets it. The other guy that we have, his name is Dean. He does all the artwork for all of the website and everything like that. We have a Patreon, all that. That's Dean's thing. Then I take all the video and I put it together, and I basically have free range for creativity, which is perfect for me because I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of practicing on editing, and I just sit in front of my computer and I have all these videos from different people. Like I have a video of Moby singing a Black Flag song, and then I have the singer from Rise Against singing. Then I have the singer from Sick of It All. I have the drummer from MXPX, and I'm just like looking at this video. I'm like, oh my god, this is like all these punk bands that are just massive, and I have all these videos, and I have to put them together and make them look cool. So then I spend about a day doing that, and I send it to Mike, and then Mike always has to spell check because I'm always horrible at spelling people's names. And he uploads it, and then we release the song. That's the basic
awesome.
process. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So there's also another question. Sorry, I missed it. The balance being creative and maintaining a business mindset. How do you wear multiple hats? I actually want to answer this also.
Please answer it.
But you probably have your own experience too. It's important to have both, especially if you are doing it yourself in the beginning, because as creative as we are and we can stay in our little bubble of creativity, the way people can get to hear your music is if you put on your business hat, business mindset, and then share it. And in the ways that me and Michael have talked about, putting it on social media with a good branding, networking. There's all different kinds of things, and they're all intertwined. I think a lot of artists out there um, put on the creative hat longer than the business hat,
Yeah.
and I think that can hinder their success. And I don't. What's your take on that, Michael?
Uh, well, I gotta say, if you're a videographer or a photographer or anything in that creative business, and you're looking to go to school, I'd say take business classes, business courses, because that potentially could be what makes it or break it for you, the business side of things. You can't be afraid. First of all, always have a contract. Always have a contract. And you can't be afraid to ask for your money when you're trying to get paid a lot. It's sometimes like, people will hold off and not pay you because they don't have the money or whatever. So
Right.
what I always do is I take 50% deposit up front.
Yep.
And I don't even start editing. I don't start editing the video until the second 50% is in my bank account. So usually the day of the shoot, like, pay the other half and get it done. That way you're not worried. It's different, obviously, if you're doing big commercial, videos or anything like that. When you're working, like, for instance, I did a bunch of shoots with Live Nation, and their policies are a little bit different. They pay them within 60 days, and like,
Right.
there's nothing you can do. They're a huge corporation.
Yeah.
You just have
And
to
you know
keep
you're
pounding
gonna
them.
you're gonna
Yeah.
get paid too. And I think
But
that's really valid. Sorry, continue.
yeah, no, I was gonna say, it's just, you have to, the balance. You have to balance it. It's just, it's there. Like, if you want to get anywhere, you have to learn how to balance it.
Oh
And
yeah.
I just, like everything else, I'm just learning as I go. Like, fake it till you make it.
It's true. And I have to credit my mom for having her own business where I learned a lot of the business aspect of it. A lot of it has to do with also following up, um, and like whatever that is to you guys. Like let's say you're reaching out to somebody and they said, yeah, well, yeah, let's talk about a music video or let's talk about a collaboration, and this is something that you really want to do. 9 times out of 10, if you don't follow up, that's what stops you from getting that business. Also, in the past, if you've um, applied for festivals or you wanted to be part of different events, just saying like a hey, just wanted to, and not overbearing. You're being enthusiastic, not aggressive. You're just following up to see, making sure that they got everything okay.
Yep.
I've had friends that in the past where they did that, they were like, "Oh yeah, we were gonna email you. We were just about to email you," or "Oh, did you not get our email?" or something like that. Like, you know?
Sure. Always send invoices through email so you have dates and all that. I've
That's
gotten
true.
burnt.
Yeah.
I've gotten burnt before, so do that.
Um,
Yeah.
so Michelle wants to know the inspiration or story behind naming the podcast "The Miserable Failure."
Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Hey, what's that? That's horrible name." So Miserable Failure is a punk hardcore song from a band called Iron Reagan. That I love the band, and I love the song. I actually covered the song last year on my own channel for fun, I guess. And it's if you read the lyrics, it's basically about, you know how do I explain this without swearing?
Just do what they do in the good place.
Yeah. So basically, it's for anyone kind of like me. I've always felt this way. I never wanted to, I never wanted to work 9 to 5 job in an office. I've done that. I've done it multiple times, and people in grade when I was in grade 8, I had a teacher. That he did not like me at all. He did not like me at all. I'm I've never been the type of person to sit in a class and be able to learn. I'm not that type of person. I have to, like, do something to learn it. And he always put me down, and he would tell me, like, you're gonna be you're gonna be a nobody. You're gonna be a janitor. You're not gonna you be able to do anything with your life. Like, he would tear me down. Yeah. So I'll never forget him. I'm not gonna say his name. But so when I think of the song "Miserable Failure," and that's why I named it the podcast, it's like, you always thought I was going to be a miserable failure, but look at me now. Look at where I am. I'm not a miserable failure. I'm running my own company. and I'm doing what I love. I have to express that I have never been happier than now. I am doing what I love, and I'm I'm paying the bills, and I cannot be happier. So that's why it's called Miserable Failure, and that's kind of what the song's about. It's
That's
like
amazing.
you may have seen me as a I mean, you may see me as a miserable failure because I don't work 9 to 5, and I'm not fitting in what you think your life should be. I'm doing what I want to do. That's where it comes from.
I love it. I'm glad that you said that because a lot of people, they can continue their life based on that as empowerment or as a hindrance. And and there's that quote Eleanor Roosevelt said about the greatest one of the greatest oh no, it just escaped me. But like being able to do something someone said you couldn't do, like being able to achieve that. And that's amazing that it's driven you that way because there's a lot of things that can happen to somebody where they're like, yeah, I never sang because my grade 2 teacher said I sucked. Just getting through that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was gonna end it there, but we do have another question from our Colombian friend. Wanted to know about your videos, Michael. Is there a basic demo that the musicians play along to? Like, I'm assuming that
Okay.
you
Yeah. So the drummer were it's usually Darren. Sometimes it's someone else. He will record, or she will record the drums first and send it to me, and then I will mix the drums, and then we'll send it to the bass player. The bass player will record his or her bass parts to the drums, and then send the bass part back to me, and I'll mix the bass and drums in, and that will give us a good foundation of the song. And then we'll send that part of the demo out to anyone else that's going to be on the song, whether it's piano, guitar, and vocals and all that kind of stuff. And then one at a time, they'll send me all their parts, and I'll mix them in. Sometimes the song can come together in a week. Sometimes it comes together in like 6 months. But that's basically how it's done.
I'm so sorry.
Hi, Jacqueline.
Hi, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Unfortunately, this is all the time we have left. So I'd like to say a huge thank you to Michael and Arlene. That was a fantastic discussion, very insightful. And I would thank you for sharing your considerable knowledge and experiences with us. Also, a big thank you to everyone who has joined us tonight for this webinar. Keep an eye on your email inbox. Mississauga Arts Council will be sending you copies of the presentation, information, and resources next week.
And TD Culture Lab also continues next week. Next Thursday, March 4th, we're going to have brand building tips and tricks for creatives and entrepreneurs, learning more about marketing with Daniel Francavilla. Tickets are available through Eventbrite, and you can find more information about TD Culture Lab events on our website at MississaugaArtsCouncil.com. So thank you again, Michael and Arlene. This was wonderful. And thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you've got a lot out of the conversation. I know I have, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you so much to the Arts Council, Mississauga Arts Council, Jacqueline, Susan, Mike.